And now we are here, Ethan, after year one of Victor Wembanyama, which we were very excited about. And we even talked about that in our first offseason episode. But here's something else that we've been waiting for since really the lottery last year. And that was Victor Wembanyama not only being named the Rookie of the Year, but the unanimous Rookie of the Year. Every single first place vote going to Victor Wembanyama. Not necessarily surprising, but how did it make you feel, Ethan? What was your initial reaction to seeing that yesterday? And I don't know if you got to catch the interview on TNT, but I did. That was a good moment for Spurs fans.
Absolutely. Finally, Spurs fans are able to tune into a TNT broadcast and listen to Chuck and Shaq and Kenny actually talk about the Spurs and not just the big old women from San Antonio, but actually legitimately talk about the San
Or
Antonio
churros.
Spurs. Yeah, or churros or making fun of whatever else, but to actually discuss Victor Wembanyama and his amazing career. And that interview was big and kind of I keep saying the change of pace for us, but it is a change of pace for us going back to what we used to be used to, and that's the media talking about San Antonio and their players. So him being unanimous, I was a little surprised. I'm not going to lie to you, Jude. I mean, obviously for us, like absolutely, like very deserving, and it makes sense and all that. Only the sixth person ever to do so, but I was so convinced that there would be one OKC writer or somebody that was going to give it to Chet on the whole.
Yeah.
OKC had is it number 1 or number 2 seed in the
Number one.
West? Number 1 seed in the West, and he had a great start to the year, so he's deserving more so than Wemby. I thought for sure there would be at least one holdout, but I was wrong. So I'm happily proven wrong, and we have I think the second in Spurs history unanimous Rookie of the Year. The first obviously being Big David Robinson in 1987, but actually that would have been 90 something, 90 or 91 when he actually won Rookie of the Year. I don't really
Because he
remember.
waited 4 years after the Navy when getting drafted. So
I think it was
somewhere in there.
91.
It's before we were born, Ethan, so we'll give
Right.
ourselves a little bit of a break.
Right. I think it was 91. But his interview, obviously, again, don't want to, hit this nail too many times here. We've
Right.
said it multiple times, but very mature young man. I loved what he said about the team and it being, kind of a team victory, and talked about his individual improvements, how he felt statistically in pretty much every category. He made strides, and then in the offseason, obviously continuing to work on his physicality, continuing to work on strength of his core, all of that, and his body. And then just adding to his game day by day. I like that he doesn't get too detailed with what he's specifically adding to his game. He always leaves it somewhat vague, and I appreciate that because I think that's like an edge to him, a competitiveness to him that's kind of flown under the radar. But that's something that he's consistently stayed with since we've drafted him, by kind of hiding exactly what he's working on.
Yeah, and Too Clutch Corey says it was only right Timmy didn't do it, to be honest. And I believe he's talking about the unanimous MVP
Right.
thing. And I know this is a little bit different, but still, when you bring up Victor and the way that he's a little bit more kind of like less flamboyant, if you will, with those answers. He's not going to
Right.
go out of his way to, be a big super personality with some of the stuff that they're talking about. Obviously, his personality and mindset in general kind of is big in a sense because of just the way that it's unique and the way that it attracts people. But at the same time, he's very similar to Timmy
Mhm.
in that aspect. And that just it
Right.
just feels so good, Ethan. It just feels so good with his personality and his demeanor, his mindset, his mentality, on top of the stuff that we saw this year that was just absolutely insane. I have some stuff that I want to bring up. So, just for some comparisons, because he's the first overall pick in Spurs history, I think. Do we
Yep.
have another one?
Nope. Just
No.
Dave, Timmy, and him.
Right. And the third Spurs first overall pick to win Rookie of the Year as well in their first year, just like those two guys. D-Rob had 21.1 points per game, 10.6 rebounds, and 3 blocks a game. Victor had 21.4, 10.6 rebounds, and 3.6 blocks per game. So
Wow.
beating out David there, and then also beating out Timmy. Now, granted, Timmy also played next to David coming in. So that's another thing that you like if you put Timmy on this year's Spurs squad, who knows? Maybe he even has a little bit of better numbers.
Mhm.
But still 19 points per game, 10.8 rebounds, and 2.2 blocks. So Duncan had the edge over Timmy and David by just a little bit in rebounds, but Wemby basically, I mean, in points and in blocks per game, he beats
Mhm.
out both of those guys in his rookie season.
It's great company to be in, and I'm actually shocked. I didn't realize that his numbers were that similar to David Robinson in his rookie season.
Mhm.
So that parallel is beautiful to see. I hope he has, even if he has a slightly similar career to David Robinson, and I think both of us think it's going to be way beyond that.
Right.
That's a successful career.
I mean, absolutely. It's a Hall of Fame career.
Absolutely, yeah.
But just to read some other stuff that I saw, just because, of course, with him winning Rookie of the Year, there were so many different stats that popped up just to kind of represent, the type of season he had. He was the NBA's blocks leader. He had the most blocks by a rookie in 30 plus seasons. He was the first 20 and 10 rookie since Blake Griffin. And he was the first 10, 20, and 3 player that's with blocks this century of all players. So I believe, like David was obviously one of the other ones in his
Mhm.
rookie year. And there might maybe like Hakeem or some other guys in the 90s that also did that. But this century, the only player to do so. And he's the first season ever with 250 plus blocks and 100 plus 3-pointers.
It feels like, or it felt like every night he broke a record, Jude. Yeah, I don't even know what to say at this point. Like,
There's nothing to say.
otherworldly.
Yeah, the last one, I know I just said it, but again, 250 plus blocks and 100 3-pointers.
Right.
This is just the beginning. But Ethan, any final thoughts on the Rookie of the Year combo?
Well deserved.